Well, welcome back to Where Canaries Walk. And again, we are here. It's been a little while, and ironic that as the team got better, we weren't sat here to sit around and moan every week. It wasn't calculated. We couldn't just get us in the same room at the same time, it would seem. So, yeah, welcome back. And of course, we are talking about Norwich City and the form that of 2026 so far, back-to-back wins, including two fantastic away victories and a sublime victory over Coventry City last night. Joined by James Hastings, and Killian is currently sat in Dublin Airport, standing by, and he's going to be joining us shortly as well. No Matty this evening. I think he's come down with a case of Clermont fever. And Mark isn't hosting this evening as he's at a PTA meeting. So it's just us for now. James, Haystow.
Hello, mate. Thoughts? Well, it's pretty good, isn't it? What a turnaround, what a revival, what a start to 2026 this has been. Hand on heart, don't think any Norwich fan could have said they predicted this. Pre-Wrexham, West Brom, Cov, I think we said if we can get 4 points sort of thing. Well, how wrong were we? 9 points. 3 very different sort of victories as well. A dirty away win at sort of Wrexham was a tough place to go. Brilliant performance at West Brom where they didn't turn up and we took full opportunity and maximised everything there. And then last night, I thought it was a brilliant game of football, even from a neutral perspective. But what a win. And I know the lot down the road are pretty happy with us as well. But listen, 9 points out of 9, nothing to complain about at all.
No, it's fantastic. And Killian, right on time, because obviously you're currently sat in Dublin Airport because you went to the game last night.
Exactly, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It was an incredible night. They were really up for it, obviously. It's lucky to speak to some of the players before the game and again afterwards, and they were on cloud nine. You could see how much it meant to them to win that. And for the fans. I mean, it's a long time since I've seen an atmosphere like that in Carrow Road.
Yeah, and I think, when we look at 2025, it really was, if you consider obviously the both of the seasons and obviously the Torp fall off and obviously what happened with Manning, it really was a turgid year, 2025, wasn't it, at Carrow Road for Norwich fans. So, yeah, I mean, of course, we're talking about the sort of the 3 games as a whole, and again, I think I said we'd get beat 4-0 by Wrexham. I said we'd get beat 2-0 by West Brom, and I said we'd draw against Coventry. So how wrong I was.
What are you saying about Borough, Tom?
We'll get there. But they're going to beat us 7-0. No, but I think it's what a fantastic start to 2026. I mean, I think you take the Stoke game out of it, and really we have been excellent so far, and I think full credit has to go to Clement and his team for obviously what's happening. And I guess the question is Hasty, you've already said, did anybody see it coming? Were last night, were Coventry bad? Were we good? What do we think?
I think it's the classic when a lower place team beats a top team. You simply say United versus Arsenal weekend, were United good or Arsenal bad? I think actually last night it was probably a bit of both. I think they had a good first 15-20 minutes. We rode that wave to an extent. We won't talk about what should have been the red card before they scored. Then we came back into it. There's some interesting stats on Sky last night. I think they had their first 4 or 5 shots. Then we had our first 4 or 5 shots. And it was similar with the second half. But I think it was interesting. Last night was the first game that we've conceded first at home and then come back to get anything since we beat Coventry last year, going 1-0 down. And you're right, 2025 has been a horrible, horrible year for us, especially at home. And I think for me, what was quite telling, I remember West Brom at home midweek early in the season. There were yellow seats around Carrow Road massively. Last night, apart from a couple of the corners, looked packed out. The atmosphere was superb. And even the 2 away games we've come back from, Wrexham and West Brom, 1,300 there, 900 at West Brom, 2 of the best atmospheres I've seen for a long, long time. And I think it might have been Kenny said it last night, or Clement said it, the synergy between the fans and the players is second to none. And we didn't have that under Thorpe. We didn't have that under Manning. To an extent, probably Smith and Wagner on certain players, but I think every single player these days has got that relationship. And obviously, Kellen, you can tell us more about them being on cloud nine last night, but you can just tell they care so much now, which is what a footballer should be like.
I think, yeah, I mean, well, Killian, obviously the first 10, 15 minutes, Coventry came out the blocks quite considerably, didn't they? I think, you know, they had an impressive start. Yes, we you know, it took a while for us to sort of grow into the game. Was that felt in the stadium last night? I admit to be watching it from home, 200 miles away, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think there was. I mean, I think people were up for the game. A lot of people beforehand, I heard them saying that they thought we'd nick a result. I mean, I know Frank Lampard said that the team didn't play so well, but you know, to be honest, I don't know if we let them play well. We were really in their faces in a lot of the game, and they have some very decent players. There's no question about it. And we stopped a lot of them. You know, yeah, they had a couple of chances, but they didn't take them. So, you know, for me, I think the last 5 or 6 minutes were a bit tense, because we know the Norwich.
Classic Norwich.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of relief from that final whistle went, especially with that last minute free kick. But, you know, I think that everybody put their life on the line for that game.
Absolutely. I mean, if we look at the first half, I mean, Cordoba hit the post. Obviously, we had a couple of opportunities, and I think we were aggrieved to go in. You know, felt aggrieved to go in 1-0 down. I don't think that was, you know, particularly fair to go in 1-0 down. Really, I think on the balance of the game, I think you know, 0-0 or perhaps 1-1 would have been fair at half time. Hayster, you mentioned it earlier on. That player, Brandon Thomas, I say he cannot get away with that on a street, let alone a football pitch, can he?
I mean, we saw it last year. I think it was last year. Kenny McLean also got that 4-match retrospective ban against QPR. I mean, if Kenny got 4 for that, then he should be getting 10, 12. It was awful. You know, he sort of had a second wind at it as well. And then you can tell when a player's guilty because he suddenly quickly ran off into the distance. I mean, then there's the conversation, you know, VAR, non-VAR, all that sort of stuff. But VAR would have been perfect for that because, 10 men, they probably wouldn't have then gone on to score. But to be honest, I don't want to focus too much on that because I think the way that, obviously, listen, Maatsen went off at half-time, and whether or not that was injury-related to that, or I think it might have been a rolled ankle, but I think certain individuals stepped up big time, and obviously the crowd helped. But I think for me, special shout-out to Fisher. I thought Fisher was absolutely superb last night. For a young lad, he's played 2-3 different positions this year. Killing, you said it, they got some really good attacking players, but I thought him and Cordoba as well, superb.
I think the whole back four, to be honest.
I think, to be honest with you, if you picked the man of the match out of a hat, you wouldn't have gone wrong, to be honest, because they were all superb for different reasons, you know.
I think for me, what I love is that Clement is happy to actually not working in certain areas, and he makes proactive changes. He doesn't wait until the 60th minute, you know, because you could tell that there was a spell in that first half just after Coventry scored where you could see the players were unsettled. You could see that they were wobbled somewhat, and actually I think Norwich of old would have conceded a second, maybe even a third, and you know, it's not unheard of. You know, we've seen absolute capitulations at Carrow Road in the last 12 months. So
they're a young team.
Yeah, and I think the fact that he's managed to get them in at half time and go, right, let's shore this up, let's sort this out, and to score 33 seconds into the second half, I think is absolute testament to what he said to him at half time, but also the changes that he made. Just a word on Pelle Maatsen. Obviously we've raved about him in previous weeks. Is he still at the levels of performance that he was, or is everyone sort of stepped up to be at his level? What do we think?
I mean, that's a conversation, and I think he's probably a standout player because mainly being so consistent. How many times have we seen Norwich players have a good game here and then they've disappeared? I also wouldn't necessarily say it's just it. I think it's that partnership with him and Kenny. I think they complement each other really, really well. Would Maatsen still be as good if Wright was next to him? Maybe not. Who knows? I think everyone else has definitely stepped up, but I still think he's one of our best 3 players by far.
Well, I think also having options on the wing and real decent options on the wing has probably changed slightly the way we're playing. So maybe less is going through him.
Got pace.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was after Watford away, we were saying we were dying out for pace. I think we had tired Schwartz out in the 70th minute on the left, and I think Springer might have been on there, but he went off. But it's like we were crying out for pace, and you're right. We have now got options. We've seen there in the last 3-4 weeks away games. We've seen Jurasek had a good second half away at QPR. Springer's had a brilliant game at home to Charlton. Obviously, Ahmed, I mean, what a signing he is. Yarlow's coming back from injury, looking very good. We have now finally got options. And I don't know if you guys picked up, but the last 3 games that I can think of, Clement's made a double substitution at half-time. When was the last time that happened with any manager within Norwich? It's as you said, James, it's that proactiveness. These spots that Spring was having a poor game last night. There's no denying it. Let's make a change. Let's go at them with pace by bringing on Diallo.
Yeah,
I think interesting thing about Springer, I was talking to him after the game, and he was limping, and I asked him was he injured? Sorry, he said it's only a dead leg, and I'll be training tomorrow. So that heart is still there, and I don't know whether that impeded his play at all, or just whether he wasn't having a great game. But the spirit is still there with all of them, even the lads who weren't playing. People like Harry Darling was chatting away to the fans, players who might have been disappointed for not getting on. So the whole squad, Clement has mentioned this, seems to be really together.
And just on Darling, because obviously, Cordoba's come back in and forged a partnership with McConville, and really that seems to be our sort of first pick now, that pairing, and the back four seems to be becoming a bit more settled. I mean, it's perhaps a little bit harsh on Darling. Obviously, we noticed he was missing New Year's Day. I presumed he was being rested, but Cordoba's just been colossal since he's come back, hasn't he?
Oh, I mean, it was the first 10 minutes last night. I think he put a couple of their guys on the floor, bit of shoulders, bit of nastiness about him. And again, when was the last time I said that about a Norwich team? I think we've got it the other end with McCarmer. We've seen, I think after the Preston game, we spoke about how he's that old school sort of striker. I think we've now got it at the back. I think McConville is a brilliant reader of the game, gets himself in the right position. And I think Cordoba's got that physical strength. And again, we've got a squad, as you just said, Killian, and that's what you want. Any successful team isn't a team; it's a squad. You have different players in different positions. One to get obviously starting at the minutes, and if not, I want to get on that pitch. I want to be part of that, and they're happy for each other, which is such a relief. Because you roll back 3 months ago, and I don't look too far back, but it was awful. I remember being there after the Leicester game, after the Bristol game, and that wasn't the Norwich that we love. You could see that there was players in there, the good players, but it's just a relief. It feels like we've got the club back, we've got Norwich back.
Killian, of course, we were talking about McConville for months now, and the premonition has come true.
Yeah, and I mean, he's obviously managers make a difference to players, and maybe Darling is one who's lost out. I know he was close to Manning. I'm not suggesting for a minute that's the reason he's not playing, but it was clear that Clement wanted Cordoba when he was in Rangers.
Yeah,
he alluded to looking for him, so he obviously was a fan of his from a distance. But I think Clement's been very smart about how he's managed the players, managed their expectations. Even the substitutions, because I don't know if you saw his post-match interviews, but he was talking about, why he didn't play Jurassic yesterday and why he put Amas where he put him. He was very deliberate in terms of knowing, he is playing team for the opposition. Now, obviously, he's still playing his own game, but he's been very selective, very clever, I think, with his substitutions.
That's probably why Spring started last night. I think, Coventry were the best team in the league. If you look at the table, you could argue, are they the best team? Maybe not, but they're, again, good attacking options. Spring is a bit more defensive. Then let's go at them with Diallo with the pace later on. So I agree with you, Killian. I think he's a proactive, he's a smart, mature manager. He hasn't got this massive maverick personality as such. He's very much feet on the ground. And also on that, I think, for me, what sums up him and also what sums up the club is he went over, obviously, to the Norwich fan, Jim, that obviously passed away recently with both hair flowers. And that's... He's a great guy. He's a great human. That's what you want at the front. So yes, he's brilliant at football, but even so, he's got an Instagram and a Twitter account. He's always posting on that. And I said the thing yesterday, sort of meeting the family beforehand. there's nothing wrong with him. It feels weird not to be able to criticise a Norwich manager.
Where's the catch? Yeah, where is
how
the catch?
How is he at Norwich City Football Club?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I think we're very lucky to get him, and do you know what? Perhaps hats off to Napa and the ownership structure who have gone and got him, because I think he said himself he wasn't available in the summer, and I know we've said this on this podcast a few weeks before about he wasn't available, etc. But I think we've got to enjoy him while we've got him, and hopefully he honours his contract, because I think there are going to be teams that will look at him. You name sort of Palace, maybe West Ham. Those sorts of teams in the lower end of the Premier League that look at what he's done so far at Norwich. Yes, of course, we are still in January, so. And yes, it's been a good couple of weeks. So you mentioned expectations and the cohesion of the fans and the players now. Just how high is high for us this season? What do you think?
At the start of the season, I said third, and I've been burying my head in the sand ever since. But actually, I can see us getting into the playoffs, and why not get third? Every game is winnable. Obviously, we've got to maintain the momentum, and we probably won't win every game. But after Middlesbrough, I think every game is fairly winnable for the next 8 or 9. So when we get that level of momentum, people will start fearing it.
I think they already do, don't they? I think that seems to have been a bit of a theme really over the last couple of weeks, and we go to Wrexham, and we're not frightened of everything that comes with Wrexham, and we go to West Brom and smelt blood, and I think that for me really shows the mentality of the team, that we didn't just go 2-0 up and go thanks, that's a lot. We absolutely ripped them apart, and yeah, I mean I'm trying not to get ahead of myself in terms of expectations and predictions. I mean, I stood there with you, Kellen, on the first day, and we said we're going to finish fourth, and equally been burying my head in the sand ever since. But James, what do you think? Realistically, what have we got in us this season?
I think let's just keep both feet on the ground a little bit. I don't think we get playoffs. I think we've got 17 games left. What's that? 51 points. I think you probably need to get 40 out of those. Are we going to win 13 out of 17? If we did, brilliant. I think if we can finish top half, I think if we can turn it around top half and then build on that in the summer, next season, push on with Clemens, push on with the current team with a few additions. I think for me, another left back, another striker to back up Makama. Still think we are missing. Yes, Slimani's been brilliant, but I still think we're missing an out-and-out number 10. My only fear is that a lot of the attacking players are very injury prone. You go across that, Diallo's been out injured for a while. Slimani's been out injured several times. Jurasek's not afraid, he's been injured. Makama's one knock away from being injured. That's the only slight concern I've got. So I think, when Clemens came in, I think Mark first asked us where do we all think we'll finish. We all said somewhere between about 18th to 14th. We all would have, bitten everyone's hand off there and then.
Still would.
Still would. I still think, listen, let's just stay up. We are only 4 points clear. It's if we can do it, there's no reason why other teams can't. Pompey, they're still hanging around. They've been picking up results. Oxford have had a couple of good wins recently. So let's not get too carried away. But as I said, let's also enjoy it whilst we can.
Yeah.
So my answer.
That's not
I think we'll finish 9th. 10th.
I was going to say that was a very politician's answer of before actually giving us an actual number. So,
9
but
or 10.
yeah, it is about enjoying it while we can, right? I think momentum in football is massive, isn't it? Whether it's in the 90 minutes of the game or whether it's it's in a sort of block of games or results. And I think while we've got it, then people start to fear us, and we don't fear going anywhere. And that's a completely different feeling to what we've had this season. When we were expecting to just go to places and get turfed, get turned over. So. But yeah, I think it would be great to finish this season with momentum, with something that we're going into the last few games of the season, that even if there's nothing to play for and we are safe, everybody is pulling in the right direction and really feels like we're getting behind something which could build into something next season. Of course, we're in January, still just the longest month of the year, with just around a week or so left in the January transfer window. Killian, how rate our window so far? How do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we haven't seen Paris yet. He looks like a big lad, though. He's seeing him on the pitch last night. So I'm not sure. It does sound like he might be slightly off match fitness at the moment. So we'll see what he's like.
Yeah.
But I think
Norwich
it's been
not match fit.
That's the Norwich way, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, Ali Ahmed's been unreal. What a signing he's been. This looks like if confidence won you games, young Harry Amas would be winning loads of games for us because he's extremely confident is the word I'll use, but he's definitely very sure of himself, which I'd like to see. And I think that's needed, even though he is a smallish fella.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, some great players who are, but he's like, I would have similar hopes like Kellen Fisher. He's slightly built, but clearly he's comfortable in this league. Obviously, haven't played plenty of games for Sheffield Wednesday, so and they would have been tough games, I'd imagine. So he's got good spirit, and I'd like to see us bring somebody else in. I mean, there's a lot of speculation today, but I think every name under the sun has been popped in just first. Big bait or whatever. There's
Norwich
popping up left. Yeah, there's name popping up left, right, and centre. But I think we will probably bring in one more. I think it's a difficult window, always is, and I think other teams are struggling. So I think it will be a decent window for us. And I think with people like Diallo coming back, I think some of Napper's earlier signings are really beginning to show. Which he was being crucified there not so long ago for not knowing what he was doing. Obviously, with the right manager, some of these players are really beginning to show. So.
And of course, the elephant in the room is the forgotten man who still remains training away from the first team and hasn't been in a squad for the last 4 now, including Walsall. Is there a world where Josh Sargent stays at the club post the end of the window, Haystow?
Yeah, if we don't get the right offer for him, I think Clement's been very firm on that. Listen, I get the reasons behind him wanting to move if it is the family side of it. What I don't understand is the way he's gone about it. I think if he's got a contract to 2028, although we know these days footballers' contracts mean nothing at all. But we've given that Sargent a lot. Yes, he's given a lot back. I would still love it if he could. I still think he's a brilliant striker. Although you can argue we haven't missed him, we don't need him. Was he a bit of a bad egg within the team? Who knows? That's just speculation. But I could certainly still see he might be here at the end of the window. Whether or not he then plays again is another conversation. Just linking back to Killian's point on the transfer and your question, I think it's been a good transfer, and I think it's been helped by injured players coming back. Slimani is basically a new signing. Diallo is basically a new signing. So I think it's been a good window. Sarge, I hope it's sorted. If we can leave with some sort of gentleman's agreement, leave in the summer, brilliant. But I think he'll struggle to get some fans back on his side, is all I'd say. But do we need him at the moment? That's the question.
Well, you mentioned, of course, a knock to Makama, and all of a sudden the picture looks very different, doesn't it? Because ultimately we do not currently have. I'm sure Clement's got something up his sleeve for what would need to happen if he did get injured. But at this moment in time, we do not have another out and out striker. Kiskorin is he a 10? Is he a winger? Is he a forward? Is he fit?
Is he fit?
This is the thing. Is that we talk about momentum now. We talk about how good it's going, and it's obviously coincidental, isn't it, that we've picked up form just as Sarge decides that he doesn't want anything to do with it, and of course people put 2 and 2 together and make 5. So I think it's one of those things that if he does remain at the club post window, I think there will be some very serious conversations about how he needs to apologise to fans to get his way back into the team. Killian, what do you think?
It's not just the apology. I think the issue is if he doesn't score, the fans will turn on him very quick. I think a lot won't welcome him back. But we scored 13 goals since the start of that Walsall match without him. So, like, does it matter whether we've got a striker or not? I mean, Jovan's obviously been brilliant, but you're seeing, like, there's players now that there's a couple of players that clearly still struggle to score and maybe lack a bit of confidence. I won't go embarrass them and name them now, but there are a few of them that, every time they take a shot, you're going, that's not going in.
Kellen Fisher.
Potentially one, but there's also, I mean, Palamatsen's a good example.
I was about to say Palamatsen.
Yeah.
I think he passes the ball in at times when he shoots.
Yeah.
I agree. We had 5 good different goal scorers at West Brom, of which McCarman wasn't one.
Yeah.
For instance, I get you. I completely take your point, Killian. I think we are starting. Ahmed and Diallo. I think they'll both start contributing. Obviously, Ahmed already has. Demano with a couple. We can't just rely on Jovan.
No, and I'll tell you who hasn't scored is McCombs. He scored for Northern Ireland, so
he's due. He's due one. Yeah, the Sky commentary last night was saying so.
Yeah, and obviously, our centre backs haven't really been scoring prolifically. So, I think our crosses into the box have improved. We still sometimes wonder about some of our corners and stuff, but I think we're due a few goals from our centre backs.
Just won 3 on the bounce. What more could we want? That's what we want. You
were worried about not having enough scorers, so there's a couple there that need to score a few goals.
Come on, Vlad. Vlad, pull your weight.
How many times have I said we don't score from corners? That's the only area I think we can still work on is set pieces and scoring set pieces. But let's not focus on that.
But we're defending corners very well, I think.
Yeah, much better.
Because I'm always a bit nervous when balls come into the box for obvious reasons, and I think our defense, and it's not just the defenders, like some of the midfielders and Jovan coming back, and like everybody's taking full accountability for keeping that ball out for free kicks and corners.
Absolutely. Well, with just over a week to go then with the window, I think for what it's worth, my opinion, I think Sarge goes. I think he knows he's incinerated the bridges around him. I think he's on his own little island at the moment. So I think he goes. Haystow, yes or no?
I think he will go, but I think he'll be late on. But I think we will only let him go if we have someone else come in first.
Yeah. I did hear, now I don't know how true this is, that I did hear that the Canadian window doesn't shut until the end of February.
Okay.
It's like the Brazilian window with Paqueta at West Ham doesn't shut till I think March or something.
Yeah, so there's a chance that he mightn't go by next week. But that if we do manage to get somebody in or some cover or some short, that they might just keep pushing. Toronto might come in with I believe they may have made another offer, but come in with a better offer right before the window ends. Window ends rather than ours.
Yeah, I just tried to Google it then while we're talking. I can't find that. I can't find that answer.
What figure would you take for Sargent right now then?
I'd take £20 million.
Yeah, I'd say 20 million.
Yeah, and I remember at one stage
it's going to be.
I think it will be less, but
I think it's going to be less than that.
Yeah,
I'd be disappointed if we took less than 17, possibly 18. But
it needs to be pounds, not Canadian dollars.
I don't know what the conversion rate is on that one.
Hold on a moment.
Not great.
Yeah, no, I think
no. Canadian money.
So then on to Middlesbrough and wow, I mean, again we look at this block of 4 games of Wrexham, West Brom, Coventry, and Middlesbrough, and I quite openly said we could come away from these 4 games without any points. I was wrong. So obviously 9 points. Thank God, yeah. So nine points on the board, and I mean Middlesbrough. That's I know it's always a tough place to go, right? But is this the toughest away day in Clement's reign so far?
Yeah,
probably is.
Apart from Birmingham when it was his first game.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't really his side, was it? So
no, I think it is. we said last night after the results we had last 2 games, me and Matt were in the car after West Brom, we were saying last night was a free hit. Well, if last night was a free hit, what is this weekend? I think go out, express yourself. You snap your hand off at a point, even if we lose, get over it, sort of thing. They're a good team. They're obviously 2-3 points clear of Ipswich. They're chasing down Cov. They'll be up for it. They've got a very good manager. Listen, I think they'll probably win 2-0, but I won't be that disheartened if we lose. Obviously, it wouldn't be nice to lose, but I won't lose sleep over it.
Killian, are you heading to the dizzy heights of Teesside at the weekend?
I certainly am. Yeah, looking forward to it. As Parmo and the chairman.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite away days, apart from the football. But yeah, it's going to be a really tough one. I think they might be on 4 wins in a row or something along those lines. I mean, for me, I think if Clement can pull this one off, I think he should win and probably will win Manager of the Month for January. It'll be a phenomenal achievement. And I think the players would know that and will really give it everything. But, you know, it's a difficult place to go and get a result.
Absolutely. I mean, I think even if we come away from there with a point, you know, even if it's a dour 0-0 and we just defend for 95 minutes, I think every Norwich fan at this moment in time would take that, you know, given the opportunity that we've got in front of us in February.
Yeah. I don't think Clement has it in his book to go defending.
No.
I mean, he just seems to substitute on attacking players. Like, I think if you're not starting in defence, you're not getting on unless there's an injury.
Yeah.
To be honest, he's substituting players to be more attacking.
And on that, just to again, we haven't mentioned him, but Ben Krasenny, I think, has come back in and slotted right back in. I mean, you know, left back in.
What a goal at West Brom!
What a goal at West Brom! Foot like a traction engine. But last night he goes down holding his shoulder after.
Yeah, I thought he dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah, I mean that for a lot of other players, you know, let's say Norwich under Manning, a player dislocates his shoulder, and there's an option to go off. Do you go off? But you know, actually Norwich under Clement, where actually there's an opportunity to stay on the pitch and fight, and you know, you could see he did not want to come off the pitch last night. So yeah, I mean, short of Pelle Matson's rolled ankle, would you go unchanged, Killian?
Yeah, I think I would. I'm not sure about. I mean, again, I haven't watched Middlesbrough enough to see. Would you go with Springett starting or somebody else? I don't know. Because clearly, but again, obviously, Middlesbrough are the attacking side with the results they've been getting. So maybe it is the same starting lineup. I don't know. I mean, Jacob Wright, I thought he did okay when he was on.
Yeah.
I still think there's occasions where our passing's a little bit off. And that happened a bit last night. So I think we're going to have to be very clean against Middlesbrough. But I do think the likes of Diallo, Jurassic, Ahmed would all terrorise any defence. And I think that's what we need to do, go out and attack. So,
score prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1 Norwich.
Cool.
Okay, Haystow. So unchanged, or would you make changes? And what's your score prediction?
I'd make some changes. I think because it is a free hit, and then for me, you look at the games we've got afterwards: Blackburn at home, Oxford away. We've got Birmingham at home, and then Leicester away as well. I'd rest Matson, which wouldn't risk him at all. So I'd bring probably Wright in for him. I probably wouldn't go Slimani just purely because managing his minutes, as brilliant as he's been, I'd probably rest him. And yeah, I wouldn't start Springett. So I'd probably Springett, Slimani, Matson out, Wright, Diallo, and probably Schwartau to start. Prediction, probably 2-0 Borough. And I hate predicting against Norwich, but I just think it's one too far.
Okay. For what it's worth, I would make changes as well. I think Springett he's worked so hard the last few weeks, but I think it's starting to show that he has been out for 18 months or so. He's starting to look a bit leggy. I'd keep the back four the same. I think they've been excellent the last few games. But yeah, I think that sort of 3 behind Makama probably needs rotation. Don't know. Maybe he goes with pace and tries to start on Middlesbrough early on. You know, maybe he goes with Jurasek, maybe he goes with Ahmed, maybe he goes with Diallo, maybe he goes with all 3. blimey, that'd be a headless chicken 3 behind the karma. But
how on earth would you do? How would you defend that? You've got these players just sort of here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, it would either be genius or it would be absolute chaos. But I think Oscar probably deserves his place back at number 10. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, I'll take a draw. I mean, I've predicted us to lose the last 3 games in which we've won, so I'll carry on that theme, and I'm going to go with 1-0 Middlesbrough, and it's going to be a hearty, spirited Norwich performance. So now that I've said that, we're going to get beat 4 or 5-0, and it's going to be an absolute shambles.
But I think it just reminds me. I think of probably the Stoke game where we've just had this really good little run, and I think it's maybe just one game too far. They've got a little bit of quality. That's probably what will change it. Something like that.
Well, we'll see. And we'll be back Sunday night to talk about it. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. If there's anything that we've missed, any players that we've missed, let us know your predictions. And we'll be back Sunday night to talk about Middlesbrough versus Norwich. And can we keep on this unbeaten run? Who knows? How high is high for Norwich this season? Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe for Where Canaries Walk. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks so much. Cheers, guys.